Hey everyone, it's Jen B, and welcome to my studio. A slightly different look at my studio today. I figured I'd start here at the soldering area because I've got just a little bit of setup to do and thought I would take you along with me and chat while I did that, but we'll do that in a moment. Today I'm going to be taking this little single turquoise earring and turning it into a pendant. I've got an idea for it, hoping it will work, and so I'm going to make a little video on it. So let's get to work. All right, first things I need to do before I get started on that is change my torch head. These are called page tips, and they are just like an expansion of the Smith Little torch. And so I need, for the particular technique that I'm going to be doing today, to have one of the regular small tips on. So I'm going to switch out the torch head while we're chatting. I really needed to get in the studio today. I woke up this morning and really found myself in the doldrums, like severely in the doldrums. Okay, I'm changing this out to a tip number 5. And it's been a difficult day. It's just been a difficult day. And I really needed to get out of the doldrums. And so I'm hoping that by being in the studio for a little bit, I will kind of force myself out of the doldrums, so to speak. So I thought I would do a video while I was in the studio today, just doing a fun little project, trying to get myself out of the funk that I found myself in today. All right, so I just switched my torch out to a number 5 tip. And I'm going to get my oxygen concentrator turned on. I don't know if I can get you over there. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so you can see that. There's going to be a beep and some noise, just to let you know. All right, I'll try to reduce the volume of that. And then I've got that on. The oxygen concentrator needs to be on for a couple minutes before I turn it on, or rather before I turn on my torch. I'm going to use this leak detector on my bottle of propane down here. I'm going to turn it on. And what this is going to do is just check for leaks. I check where the regulator is connected to the bottle and then where the hose is connected. And if there were any leaks, there would be bubbles. And we're good. This should be done anytime you turn on a torch like this. Okay, I've got everything set up now over at this area. I'm going to move the camera over to my bench right there, and we will prepare the little piece of turquoise and the idea that I have for the pendant. We will get prepared to do that. So hold on one second and I'll be right back. All right, that was a quick move. Put that little pendant there, or the little earring there. Let's see what kind of scrap wire I have for this. I think that one's a little too thick. This is probably going to be a unorganized, just another candid look at what it's like to be in my studio. But like I said, I needed to get up and do something, and that's what I'm doing. My husband and my son went out for a little bit. Right, so my idea for this pendant is I'm going to create a little bail that I'm going to use to pin this piece of turquoise in place, because this is a bead and there's a hole in it. I mean, I could technically set it in a bezel and that hole would be there, but my idea is to make a bail and pin it. So let's give that a try. Okay, I am back over at the soldering area. Oxygen concentrator has been on for a while. I'm going to put on my safety goggles and we're going to get the torch lit. And what I'm going to do is create 2 balls, one at each end, and then I'm going to flatten those balls and drill a hole in them, and then that is where I will put the pin through. It'll all become clear in a moment. I can see it in my mind. I can see it. Is this the only cross-locking tweezer that I have available right now? There we go. Okay. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I am just going to melt the end into a little ball. I don't even know if that ball is going to be the right size. Ooh, that's going to be hot, but we're going to go with it. Again, this was just to get me out of my funk. Look and make sure that those are about even. I think I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. So we're just going to melt them again. There we go. Torch off. I'm going to quench that. All right, that is the bail, or what will be the bail. I'm going to throw this in the pickle, and then we're going to go flatten these balls over at the bench block. I'll see you in a moment. Okie dokie. Got my camera set up over there at the bench block. Although I do have a feeling the camera is going to shake because I did not set up the I didn't set up the actual tripod, so it's probably, the camera's probably going to shake as I'm hammering these balls flat. And we're just going to go with it today. We're just going with it today. I'm going to use a planishing hammer to flatten these balls. Just going to hold it here. If you could see that. Okay. I may try to expand them a little bit more. Make them just a little bit bigger. All right, I'm gonna call that good. And I'm gonna head over to the bench block and get some holes drilled in. Actually, while I am here, I'm gonna put use a little center punch so that my drill bit has a spot to get into. This is my very first chasing hammer, and I don't know if you can see that. This is my very first chasing hammer, and I believe that my son got a hold of this at some point recently and was hammering away and then put it back in my drawer because I went to go use it and there's all sorts of marks on it, and I've been working on filing it smooth and getting it smoothed out, but that is okay. Happens. Just gonna give that a tiny little tap so that I have a place for my drill bit to sit. Ow, I just hit myself in the face with the cord. My gosh. Okay, this is just a little bit of lubricant. I'm gonna do my drilling on this little armrest thing. I don't know, still maybe a little too big of a drill bit, but if I feel it is too big, I'll go back and do it again. Remake it, not a big deal. Like I said, I am just doing this for fun today. This whole time I've been off camera, and that is incredibly annoying. Okay, so what I did after I drilled the holes was I formed this little bail, and it is going to sit over the turquoise like that, and that is going to be the bail for this pendant. And I noticed that right there in the turquoise is a little L. I wonder what that means. I mean, obviously somebody's mark, but I don't know whose. So that's neat. Unfortunately, it looks like this piece has been cracked a little bit right there. That's okay. It'll still be a great little piece. All right, so I'm going to take this wire that I just dropped on the floor, and I'm going to go over to the soldering area. Okay, here we are again at the soldering area. We are getting very close to being done with this pendant. I told you it was going to be quick, and I didn't lie. It's more I actually was right. Okay, I am going to create a little ball on the end of this. Oops, some of the silver fell off because I made a slightly too big ball. That's perfect. Where'd that little piece of silver go? Let's put that over there. Okay, I'm going to get this piece in the pickle to get that oxidation off. And then we're going to get this finished up. Okay, we are at the final stages of getting this pendant finished. I have got my pin, and what I'm going to do is feed it through that bail. Get it out the other side, and you can see there that'll give you an idea of how it's going to look when it's finished. It's just going to be real cute and real simple. Okay, so I've got the pin threaded in there, and I'm going to cut off the excess of this pin. Okay, let's get my torch lit, and I'm going to get a really tiny hot flame and hold this sideways so that I am just, there we go. Okay. And I can't remember if I'm supposed to quench it, maybe, okay. Oh, I did burn the turquoise a little bit right there. Oh, yeah, that got a little hot. Okay, that's interesting. Let's talk about it. It looked like I did hit the turquoise a little bit with my flame, so it did burn a little bit. That is the backside. I'm still practicing pinning and trying to experiment with pinning. I'm going to see if I can buff that out. All right, so here is the finished pendant. And doesn't it look adorable? Oh, that is just such a neat little pendant. Single earring that I turned into a pinned pendant. A chain can just go right through there, and it'll just be real cute. I do wish that I had left a little bit extra space in the bail so that this could be free swinging and not get caught up on itself. I may have to see if I can pull it apart a little bit with some pliers just to give it a little bit extra space. But I'm really, really happy with this idea that I had and the way that it turned out. I definitely want to continue experimenting and playing around with pinning. It's definitely something that intrigues me, and the simplicity and the beauty of it is something that attracts me. So stay tuned for more pinning projects. Almost dropped that. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today for this very quick get out of the doldrums video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.